name is Zoe. I'm the Tipsy Psychic, and today we're going to talk about psychic-themed board games. Believe it or not, I don't spend all my time in a dark room somewhere reading tarot cards and gazing into my crystal ball. That would be really cool, but that also sounds really lonely and not very stimulating, not very fun. So, sometimes I need to take a break from all that. Say hi. Spending time with my loved ones, with my boyfriend, with my family when they come to visit is really important to me. And over the holidays, I assume it's important to a lot of you too. And so I really like to play board games. So here are 6 psychic-themed board games that I'm going to share with you. You can play with your friends, with your family, and they're all a little different, but they all kind of share that overall theme. So here we go. The first one is The Mind. The Mind is a cooperative board game for 2 to 4 players. Basically, there are 100 numbered cards in the deck. They look like this. And during the game, you must play each card in ascending order. So one after the other. Now here's where the best part, and it's also the trickiest part, comes in. You cannot talk. You cannot interact. The only thing you can do is concentrate and focus on each other and try to get the answer through each other's connection, psychic connection. You can't show your hands in any way. You can't make facial expressions that show that someone's on the right track or not. You just have to kind of tune in and really focus on each other and your intuition and trust your instincts. So basically, this game relies a lot on your psychic senses. And I really love that, how it's sort of a mainstream game, but at the same time, you still have to really focus and read a person in order to play it. You're not just looking for, twitches in their eye or anything. You're actually trying to be on the same wavelength as them. That is so cool. So depending on how many players there are, you are going to have to complete a certain amount of levels. So if there are 2 players, I believe it's 12 levels. And it's really hard to complete, but it's really fun. It's kind of addicting. You want to keep trying at it. You also only get a limited amount of lives. So if you're out of lives, then you kind of lose the game. I love how easy to learn this game is. Obviously, I'm not going to explain it all to you right now, but that's kind of the gist of it, is you're really tuning into other people around you who are playing with you, and you're sort of relying on your instincts and your gut to really get through to them and to really play this game. This is a really great family game, but it's also just a great experience overall. It's not even about game night, it's about the experience and the psychic experience. And when you do it, you feel so fucking amazing. And for those of you who really want to get in touch with your psychic senses, this is a really fun way to do that, and at the same time spend time with your family or friends. I'm not saying that what you're experiencing in this game is psychic intuition, but it's a great way to jog that and to get that started for those of you who kind of want to light that spark a little. So The Mind is by Pandasaurus Games. It's kind of weird, but it's really fun, so definitely check this one out. I'll post the link below so you can see if you want to look into it and see if you want to try it out. The second game is Medium. It is a mind-reading party game. Woo! So this game is much more psychic themed than The Mind was, but it is very similar in many ways. Because in this game, you're also trying to connect with another person and trying to be on the same wavelength as them. It is definitely not as difficult in a lot of ways because it's more of a word game, but it does rely a lot on that connection that you have with the other person. So basically, you play as psychic mediums and you each get your own hand of cards. Each card has a word on it. For example, this one says purse. You each will play 1 card. For example, this one says leaf, and then you play supermarket, and you have to figure out what the middle card is, the medium. So the medium is that word that connects the 2 words. And your goal is to get the same word as the other person. So you'll go 1, 2, 3, and then you'll say the word you think it is. And for example, if you both get, so supermarket and leaf, if you both say lettuce, then you both get the word right. So lettuce would be the medium. So the goal is to find the medium. You continuously do this. You get 3 shots to find the medium each time. You rack up points. The points are really cute. They come in these little jewels. And depending on which turn you got it right, you will get a different color jewel, which has a different amount of points. The game ends when you start to get these types of crystal balls, and basically your psychic powers become so much that the crystal ball shatters and the game is over. I don't know in what other scenario I can think of where a shattering of a crystal ball would be a good thing, but it's a game, guys. It's a game. So this is a really simple yet fun game. And actually, in my opinion, the fun lies in not getting the words right, because it's really fun to see how far off some people really are from what you're thinking. Like, you see these 2 words and you're like, oh, that means this, duh. And then they come up with something really different and you're like, no, we're supposed to be thinking about the same thing, but it's hilarious. Yeah. It's also kind of great when you do get the same word, but at the same time, it doesn't happen very often in my experience. So don't be too hard on yourself. It's not easy, but it's a lot of fun to see where people's heads are at. They've marketed this as a party game. I do not know how much I would like to have drinks in me while playing it. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those games where you do have to think a little bit and be like present. And I don't know if I could do that if I'm drunk. You know? I don't know if this is the best like college party game where you're drinking and stuff, but I do think it would be fun like if you're with your family or friends and you just want something quick and simple to play that doesn't take too long to explain. And it's psychic themed and allows you to bond with people, so yay. One thing you also got to appreciate, especially if you play a lot of board games, is that this game is so easy to put away. It's so easy to organize. Yeah, there are those little tokens, but there aren't that many tokens in this box. It's pretty easy to organize and put away. And I really, really like that. So the third game I want to talk about is called Paranormal Detectives. It is one of my favorites now. Basically, Paranormal Detectives is a deduction game for 2 to 6 players. 1 player is the ghost, and then the rest of the players are psychic detectives that have to compete to figure out who did it, who done it, and what weapon. It's a lot like Clue in that way, where they have to figure out the whole scenario of how the victim died. And it's really, really fun because that 1 player that can play as the ghost can only communicate in very indirect ways. And each of the players compete against each other to see who can figure out how they died first. So I believe there are 9 ways that the ghost can communicate with the psychic detectives. One of them is my favorite. Oops, wrong way. And it's through the Ouija board. Another way the ghost can communicate is through tarot cards, which I really like. Another way is by bending these into a shape. There's pantomiming, there's noises. I also really like the artwork, and I like how each of the cards are so different and the people. I just think it's beautiful and fun and creative, and it's so versatile, which I really enjoy. So being the ghost and being the detective is very fun. I've played both parts and I've enjoyed both times. They're both very interactive. Yes, you know, you're dead and stuff if you're the ghost, but you are still in charge of trying to get through to these psychic detectives and getting your message across. And while of course none of this is really psychic, it's really fun to play a psychic detective, and it's just like a really fun scenario. Everybody gets their own little cards and whiteboard markers so they can keep track of all the notes and information that they learn. And the ghost can choose from a variety of different victims that they can portray or be. And the scenarios are always really fun and interesting. So if you want to get silly, if you want to get weird, if you want to get creative, and you want to solve a murder, this is a really fun game. This gets everyone out of their shell, so you're not just sitting back. You have to interact. You have to go for it and figure everything out and get all your clues together. And it's just very involved, you know? And I feel like it's a great game night for families, for friends. It's just really fun. And I feel like I haven't heard about it enough out there. It's not publicized enough for some reason. I don't know. I only found it when I was looking for psychic games. So this one is great for everybody, no matter who you are. Seriously. I think the more people that you have, the better. But this game was still really fun for a date night, you know, just me and my boyfriend. They have different adjustments you can make depending on like how many people are a part of the game, so keep that in mind. The next game I want to introduce you to is Mysterium. Mysterium. So this game has a very similar premise to Paranormal Detectives, meaning there's a ghost and then there are a bunch of detectives or psychic mediums trying to figure out who did it. This game takes place in Warwick Manor. It's a haunted house, and there is a whole plot line to it. I mean, it's not that extravagant, but basically a bunch of psychic mediums are coming together to figure out who the ghost is and solve the situation. So one player plays the ghost, and instead of communicating in the same way that Paranormal Detectives did with all these different methods, in this case, it's going to be through imagery. And by imagery, I mean these cards with illustrations on them. And some of them are pretty vague, but isn't that how psychic experiences go? Like, it's symbolic, right? So this is a whole different playing field, because I feel like this game relies much more on artistic interpretation. The ghost is basically handing the players, the other psychics, these cards, and they have to kind of read into it and decide what that means. It's a beautiful game. I mean, everything is just like, the artwork is so gorgeous. I like it a little bit better aesthetic wise than Paranormal Detectives. And yes, I am comparing the two of them because I do feel like they're very similar in so many ways. I think the intensity really comes down to the timing of this game. You have this clock and you have about 7 hours. So I think you have 7 turns in order to guess everything correctly. Now this game is for 2 to 7 players. I advise playing at least 4 players. I don't think 2 or 3 players is very fun in my experience, but if you have a larger group, then this is a great game. You know, it's very relaxing to play after dinner, you know, or play with a group of people. It's just like, it's just one of those games that's just so pretty. And I don't think like it's as intense as I thought it would be, but I really love I just love it. It's so beautiful. I don't know. But yeah, definitely play it with more people. I feel like when I just played it with my boyfriend, I didn't have the best time, but then when I played it with other people and him, don't worry, it wasn't just because of him, I still, like, I had a much better time. Plus, there are multiple expansion packs now out for this game, and those sound really cool too. I haven't played them yet, but you can definitely check those out. It's always nice to know that the game is kind of expanding, so you can move forward with it and grow and try new things. So, number 5, mind management. Mind MGMT. It is really, really fun, guys. But I gotta warn you, this is not the game to start with if you're just getting into board gaming. I don't feel like it's everyone's cup of tea, but it is so beautiful and fun, and we gotta just like talk about it, okay? So mind management is the psychic espionage game. It is for 1 to 5 players, and it's actually based off of a graphic novel, so that's why it looks so cool. A lot of the artwork is really similar to the graphic novel. The board is huge, so I'm not gonna really open it all up, but I just want to show you the back. It's got all these graphic novel pieces or comics on here, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, the board is really big. So in the game, psychic rogue agents are working to track down the mind management recruiter. So in the game, one player plays the mind management recruiter and is the one who is kind of hidden, and then the rest of the players are these rogue psychic espionage agents, and they are the ones who are looking for you if you're the recruiter, obviously. So they work together to track down the mind management recruiter, and obviously there's a lot more to the plot and it gets more complicated, but that's it in a nutshell. It's a hidden movement game. So if you're playing the recruiter, you're going to be tracking where you are on here. They're not going to see this, but they're going to be looking for you. And so they're going to be asking you questions. They're going to be trying to figure out where you are. Meanwhile, you're on your own journey trying to recruit other agents and do other things, and you have your own mission. So it's kind of complicated to get your head around, especially if you're new to board gaming and you don't really know much about it. I wouldn't start with this game, but if you do want to take it up a notch and go to the next level, I feel like this is a really fun game to check out. It's very interesting looking, and the premise is just really creative, and I love that it's based off of a graphic novel, which I have not read yet, but I'm definitely going to. Number 6 is the Shipwreck Arcana. It's a cooperative card game. So the cards kind of look like tarot cards, right? They're not your average, you know, regular Rider-Waite tarot deck or whatever, but they're really cool. Like this one is the Judge, the Lord, the Shore. And basically, this game is for 2 to 5 players, although I would advise playing with 2 players or 2 or 3 players. I don't think it's as fun playing with more players. It comes with this little thing here, this little pouch, and there are a bunch of tokens, and basically you're trying to guess each other's fates. So you're trying to use the cards and the wooden tokens that you have, and you're trying to come up with each other's fate number. And it's a logic game, it's a numbers game, but at the same time there's kind of this mysticism to it, so I really like it. It's a really beautiful game, and I feel like it's really high quality. Like you can tell, like the cards are just really nice. The tokens are wooden and they're just really light, but they're also really nice and solid, you know? They don't feel like they're just gonna like fall apart in your fingers like a lot of these games have. So similar to Mysterium, you only have a certain amount of turns, I think 7 here, in order to guess, right? I don't really want to get too much in depth with explaining all of the details about this, but I just want to give you a good feel and let you see for yourself how beautiful the cards are. And you know, as a psychic, I kind of appreciate things like this, especially when I read tarot cards. Make sure you check out Shipwreck Arcana. I really like this game. I will definitely post all of these below, so you can definitely check them out and see if you want to get them for the holidays or something like that. I am not being sponsored by any of these games. I just really love board games, and I really want to be able to share that with you and to find a way to make it match the theme of my channel. So this is my way of saying these are some games you should play. These are some really fun psychic themed games. There's so many of them out there. If you have any to suggest to me, please comment below and let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear more about them. Subscribe to my channel. Bye.